Do I look like a Canadian? Or do I look like a Canadian? Eh? Good morning. As much as I want to put the slabs up and get the walls up because it's going to look the most visually transformative, I'm going to do the roof so that I can kind of waterproof this place, as I don't know when it's going to snow. That's the plan. I need to trim everything at the back and the front and then head to the mill. Go to trim all these. Now, I don't think we have a chalk line here. I have a chalk line at the cliff cabin. There's a chalk line at the lake cabin down below. I don't know if I have one. I have the string line, so I'm going to set the string line up, and then I think 7 inches is my longest one. So run things around that length, draw a plumb line, and then cut. I also drew a line. Normally I'd snap the chalk line and have a chalk line there, but because I don't have that, I actually took and drew a pencil line as well for reference. For the front, it looks like this first one is the shortest, so I'll have to measure from that one. Sawdust in my nose, I'm sneezing. Anyway, I just realized this was the end one that I cut off, and I realized there's a lot I could have pushed it up further and given myself more overhang, but now I have to cut everything back a lot more. I was hoping to keep it out as far as I could for as much overhang as possible. So darn, messed that up a little bit. Son of a bitch. I just got to the end one and realized I screwed up. I didn't put my line, my string line, with it taking into account the top. So I guess I've got to start over. It is time to mill some roof boards. I was getting really cold down there. It's really cooling off, especially with the sun down now. I went up to go put some more layers on, have something to eat, take the dogs for a walk. But now we need to put something on the mill and mill it. There's also roofers here right now. The last couple days, we're getting that area of the roof redone where the avalanches were coming down and landing on the deck. So they ripped all the steel off yesterday, which is the steel I'm going to be putting on the roof, repurposing that. I've asked them to save it all. They are putting a really good underlayment on with much better attention to flashing the dormer, which is where the leaking was getting in my opinion. Thicker steel, and then we are installing our own snow guards. But anyway, let's talk, what material are we going to use? Now, there's two options really. I have a lot of cedar and I could mill cedar roof boards. That would look amazing and smell amazing. I think it would complement the fact that the rafters are cedar. There's one other log in the pile that I've got that really does need to get used, and that is a big lodgepole pine. I've milled sections of that lots of times on this channel. I use it in the cliff cabin. I've used it, some of it on the little shed down, the other shed down by the creek. And I think it's been sitting long enough that if I don't use it really soon, it's going to just be a rotten mess. It might already be, I don't know. I will get a lot of bang for my buck milling that because it's really big in diameter. Whereas the cedar, I will have to go through a lot more logs. It's maybe a little bit more time consuming. It's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I'm gonna mill the lodgepole pine anyway, because honestly, I was just like having my cookies and I was like, but would the pine look really good as flooring? I was originally gonna use fir or hemlock, whatever. But I was like, I wonder, you keep all the cedar up top, you do something different on the bottom, then you're kind of not having too much variety of wood all over the place. And then I was like, Michelle, focus. No, you're doing the roof. You're not milling floorboards right now. So we're milling the lodgepole pine as roof boards. Hopefully. I don't even know if it's long enough, to be honest. Let's go look. But here is the pine. Look at this. Look at this big fella. You know what's a big bummer? The width of my structure roof is 117 inches from rafter to rafter. This log is 114 inches long. Maybe that's a sign that I should use the cedar, because I have definitely a lot of cedar that is the right length. So, gosh, now I've got to rethink this because I was pretty dead set on using that. The other really good thing though, I guess, is that it's not rotten. I think I know what I need to do, but while I make my final decision, I want to thank the sponsor of the video today, which is Sunday's Food for Dogs. We were first introduced to Sunday's Food for Dogs in May, June of this year, and initially fell in love with them for the sheer quality of their product. Their food is 100% human grade from start to finish. It is gently air dried, which preserves not only the nutritional value, but also the flavor. And Lenny was a telltale sign of that quality. Lenny was incredibly picky and also suffered from health issues which caused GI upset. And he literally devoured that dog food. So I started him on a monthly subscription. What's kept us in love and committed to supporting Sundays forever is this. When I notified them that Lenny passed away in August, I was blown away by how I was treated. I was treated like I was a friend or a family who had lost my pet, not like just a paying customer. Sundays sent Steve and I flowers to our door with a very heartfelt note. And they made a donation to the rescue organization in Missouri that helped us pull Lenny from death row and get Lenny to Canada. Steve and I were just blown away by the overall, I guess, like the wholeness or the completeness of Sunday's Food for Dogs, from the quality of their product to the quality of their customer service, and all of that combined. Thank you so much. If you would like to support Sundays and feed your dog the best quality food, Sundays would like to offer you 50% off your first order. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/Michigas or use the code Michigas at checkout. After all that, I put all the safety gear on, the chaps, the this, and then I forgot to push record. This is a nice cedar though. It's actually pretty decently large in diameter. This is always the dilemma. I'd like to just take the forklift and pick all of this up with the forklift, but I've got Mr. Excavator attachment on, which I'm using to put the logs on, and no, I don't want to use Mr. Lardars. So that was the purpose of doing it, milling it like this, so that I would just come in and scoop it up with the forklift, but I don't feel like changing attachments. It can be a pain sometimes. One of the things is bent on the Bobcat. One of the little parts where the little lip, I guess, that catches the attachment. So it's not easy all the time to do it. My gosh, you guys, this right here is some pretty nice wood. Speaking as a connoisseur. You know what else I'm a connoisseur of? Dog shit.
What's a man got to do to get a woman like you? What's a man got to do?
Oh, you know what I was going to do? Cut that one, maybe. Skim this one down. What was I thinking?
What's a man got to do to get a woman like you?
My thing is sticky. All right, based on my expert calculations, I think I have enough roof boards. They're ready to go down, except I'm like, if I'm gonna make a trip down with the Bobcat, I may as well take some other things down. So I think I'm going to take some slabs. I set aside a few of the cedar ones that I thought were usable. Those are 10 feet long, so I'll cut off the narrower end for 8 feet in case I need them. I'm not sure if I have enough slabs for the wall material or not, but it wouldn't hurt to take more down. And I'll go through this. This is a mess. I'm gonna try and find a couple of slabs in there that are worth doing that to as well. And then I'm gonna quickly whip up some 2x4 material for the door and window framing. One board up and then realized I'm forgetting a step if I want to make my life easier in the long run, which is to deal with the blocking. So I need to actually notch out the roundness of the rafters and so that I can slide in some blocks. And it's so much easier to do it before the roof is on. Look like a Canadian? Or do I look like a Canadian? Eh? It's cold down in the forest. You won't believe this story that just happened. I'll keep it short. I was talking with my neighbor, my friend, Craig, who is Sherwin and Kootenai's dad. Sherwin is the dog that's been coming around and hanging out down here with me. We take care of them from time to time. Clyde hasn't been doing well. Clyde, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to put Clyde down soon. And as I'm telling this to Clyde is also on some prednisone to help him with what's going on in the meantime. A lot of prednisone. So yesterday he couldn't walk. Today He's walking. And while I'm talking with Craig in the driveway, Clyde goes by. 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes goes by, and I turn around and I'm like, did he come back up? Craig's like, nope. And I'm like, shit. Does he feel like a superhero with wings with all this prednisone on board, even though yesterday he couldn't walk and he barely was getting down the lawn anyway? We just spent the last 2 hours looking for him. I was literally running the trails in the forest. All of the trails that he used to go on ran like acreages over, like 4 properties over through the forest. Everywhere, ATVing, Craig and I looking for the last 2 hours. And then the last time he went back up to the house, he called me and I was like way down in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, he's at the house. Where he went in that time frame, in that space where he didn't pass us coming back up along the house, we'll never know. And Lenny dying and us not being able to find him was like this whole thing about Clyde wearing a collar and his GPS collar, and I charge it and I do put it on him, but we were just talking and he just walked by us, and it didn't think in that moment that run and grab the collar and put the collar on him. But no ifs, ands, or buts at this point. Every day until Clyde is no longer with us, that GPS collar is going on. What an exhausting experience. Anyway, he's home. He's okay. He's resting now. And I'm going to try and get these rafters in, or these, I grabbed a few of this is the fascia from the deck, the offcuts. It's cedar and it's 2 inches, which is exactly the space cut out at the back of the beam is a 2-inch space. So I'm going to measure and fit these down in the slots that I've created, and hopefully they fit well. I didn't do a great job on the first one. I have to get this cut. I have to flip the saw around twice to get all the way through, so it doesn't exactly leave it very good. This is the offcut from the other one, so I can still use this angle, and I'll just cut it down. So that'll be nicer. I don't have to cut the angle for each one. It's 19 degrees. Good to remember that. Naturally, the last one was my best one. And I'm not going to do here, because that might be a nice place for a bird's nest. I wanted to bring that rafter in a little bit, that end rafter, because the roundness was sticking out a little bit more than the other ones. I'm trying to decide if I want to put all my boards up, cut them all after, or if I want to put them all up, line them up on one side with a string line, and then cut the other side in case the roof isn't square, which it probably isn't. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to execute that is. So anyway, I don't think it really matters. No one's going to really look to that much detail except me probably, so I'll just pick one and go with it. wanted to give an update on Clyde. Just try to be as brief as possible. I had sort of alluded to in the last video that we might not have Clyde for much longer. There was something going on with him. What we thought was vertigo, I sort of talked about in a video, one of the deck videos in early September. It seemed like he had vertigo, but it turns out that it's actually meningitis. So he's got what's called aseptic meningitis, and it's kind of an autoimmune inflammatory response. And so it had this waxing and waning kind of tendency, and his vertigo symptoms sort of started to turn into neurological symptoms, like he was stumbling, getting really weak, like tripping, and then it seemed like he was in a lot of pain or dizzy or nauseous or something. Anyway, the first vet visit, the vet was like, I think it's aseptic meningitis, which typically doesn't happen in older dogs like Clyde. It typically happens in younger dogs, but his blood work didn't really show anything to give us something. His ears, it didn't look to be like an inner ear infection. But we put him on an antibiotic and a pain pill called gabapentin, a nerve thing, and he improved for about 10 days, and then he started to plateau, and then he went downhill again. So at the 2-week mark, I took him back to the vet kind of on an emergency basis, and he was so sick. He had a bad fever. He was just in so much pain. He was so weak, he could barely walk. I could barely get him into the clinic. And basically the vet kind of confirmed that, yeah, he's pretty certain that it's this, and we need to put him on prednisone, which is a steroid. So Clyde has been on prednisone for a week and almost a week and a half, and it's doing its job for sure. He's better. I just don't know how long it's going to last. We're kind of taking it one day at a time. Today he seems like he's in pain. We're tapering the dose of prednisone now. We're at that phase. So I don't know. We just don't know. To be honest, that day at the vet, the last day, I was crying in the clinic, and I was like, I don't know if I need to put him down. Like, he was just in such a bad way. And, yeah, I don't want to see him suffer, for sure. For the most part. For the most part, he's okay. Hey there. For the last month, I've been sleeping in the main floor. We're in the office just because he needs kind of care, especially at night. And so it started out where I brought his crate down because he physically couldn't even get upstairs anymore. So I brought his crate down, and he was sleeping in the crate, and I slept on the floor, and then I pulled out this mattress. I had this rolled up, one of those like mattress in a box things. So I finally opened it and was sleeping on the mattress, and then Clyde wanted to sleep on the mattress. And so I've been sleeping on the couch. There's my bed. Yeah, so truthfully, I'm up most nights with him anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7 times a night. He either needs to get a drink, or he's just uncomfortable. I get ice packs and cool him down, or I get a cold cloth and I wet him down, or he has to go out to go pee or get a drink. He's kind of peed the bed a couple times, so I have like a waterproof thing underneath, and he's just, he's my patient right now. My kind of my palliative patient, I think, in a way. I mean, I don't know what the prognosis is, truthfully. I kind of looked online, but there's deceiving information online, and I don't know, just for a dog his age, and he is in theory about 13, so he's at his life term essentially. And anyway, that's it. Last night we actually got more sleep, but it's worth it. I will be up as long as I need to be up to take care of him and see him through this phase of things. Hey there. keep his collar on, his GPS collar now, pretty much for the day. You know, with losing Lenny and Lenny being so close, just if something happens with Clyde and we just can't find him and he's really close by, say if he falls and he can't get up or, you know, something. I don't think he's going to try to go and clown like hound dog like he's done for the last almost 4 years. I don't think he's going to do that, even though he's tried a couple little times. But the terrain is gnarly and it's really steep, and I think he knows that he can't physically do it. This is special. Clyde's... Oh, see, he's falling all the time. He's feeling so good he wants to go do his thing. He's following his old trail. Oh, he's gonna have a poop first. See, he doesn't know I'm here. He sees the other dogs though. See, you can't go down there, Clyde. It's too steep. Oh, see, now he sees me. Game over. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Were you wanting to go clowning one more time? Were you wanting to go once more again? Hi, baby. Yeah, I think Clyde's days are numbered. I don't want to drag it on if he's not having a good time. And so when he shows me that sign, that'll be it. Well, this is the next day. And yesterday he had a pretty good day. Went for a walk around the property. He was pretty happy, good appetite. And last night he went downhill. And he's been in a bad way since the night. And it's almost noon. So I think this is it. I'm trying to make arrangements for getting cremated. I would have to drive an hour to get to our vet, and then an additional 3.5 or 4 hours to get to a cremation place that I would take Clyde to. So I'm just trying to make those arrangements now, but I got my truck ready. Exactly today, 2 years ago, was around this time that I put Hannah down. Exactly October 15th, 2022. We seem to lose dogs in October and November the most. These paws, crooked little toes. Smell. It's the best bear. I love you so much, Clyde. Thank you. Thank you for 4 great years, buddy. It's time. Hi, buddy. Oh my gosh, so funny. You are so cute.